Hi guys, I don't know how this is going to sound. I've got some new mic set up and I'm just going to check it out. But this is going to be on Putin. So I was looking at, see, I've got, you can't see, I've got little tassels here. I was looking at his situation with his family. And, you know, he's always been uber. You'll probably, this thing is so sensitive, you'll probably hear my stomach growl. So sorry if I do that. Anyway, he's always been super sensitive and secretive about anything to do with his family. But especially to do with a woman that claims that she is his mother. And I'm pretty sure she's from Georgia. And he didn't want to acknowledge this because she had him out of wedlock. And this doesn't quite go with the image that he is now. You know, he is the uber Russian, you know, he can't, I don't think, and rejects, doesn't want people going and talking to her. And I will include the bit that I picked up from, I think it's Grunge TV or something. It's on here on YouTube. It's very interesting. I hadn't been aware of that. And so when I, right then and there, you know, he's, you know, claims that both of his parents are dead and what have you. Let me just clear my throat here. All right, anyways. Let's see if I can share that screen with, do I still have that up? Let me see if I can find it. She's like, oh, here we are. Now this is about, let me just see what I have to do here. I gotta, see if I can share it. All right, going back to my settings. Sorry guys, I'm getting used to this. I've just put in, okay, let me see. One is, okay, sorry. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. I'll figure that out later. So anyway, there's this woman that's claiming that she is indeed his mother. And it's out of Georgia. And the link, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's grunge, like in grunge metal, GRUNG, and I will put the link to that in the description box. But I don't know. Let's see if you can hear any of it. I don't know if that'll work. All right. Claims that he'll step down at 2036. I hope you can hear this. You remember Yeltsin? Yeah, this goes all the way back to that. Oh, There. This is so interesting. So, all right, just for a second. This claims to be a frank book by Putin about himself and about his family and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of, well, as you can imagine, there's a lot of discrepancy to some of the things that he's claimed. And this link will get to it pretty brilliantly. Let me just carry on. There she is. Uh, ah, I bet he does. Ah, huh. I, hmm. Okay. So that's a little bit, just a little bit, um, about what he's, sorry again for any background noise. I do live here with other people, so sorry. Um, but that's just a little bit. I have read on this guy for years, but I didn't know the thing about the mother. I knew something more about his dad and his dad having become disabled and but the interesting thing was I didn't think about it, but I'd never really found much information about his mother. And he's kept all of that very, very quiet. And he did the same when he married. And he has two daughters. But anyone he dates now, all of that is very, very hush hush. Now, okay, so there's just some ground things. Now, so I began to throw down cards and I was beginning to tune in. And what I was picking up again was, this looks so funny because I do, is that, you know, he has real issues about authenticity, being authentic. And it's not going to matter however amount of power he gets, he's always going to have that fear, that insecurity that says you're not good enough because you're, you know, you're not upper class, or you're not this, or you're not that. So no matter whether he's Georgian actually or not, he's already got such an insecurity, it doesn't matter. And I think the isolation and the power to kind of confirm himself is just a gigantic echo chamber. And I think it's just made him more and more kind of kooky. But I think he's not, you know, like super, I think he's wise to hide it, you know, what his real intentions are. But I think there are people that also just know him and know, you know, what he's up to. But the scary thing is his insecurity. Excuse me. I mean, he's so insecure. He's willing to have, he's had lots of people killed, and he denies it, but I think he's kind of proud of it. He's no stranger to using nerve agents and poison, as we've talked about before. But so the feeling that I could really tap into it was of insecurity. And I think that there's got to be some truth to that woman, potentially, that they were going out to see, because these officials in that aircraft, the aircraft just happened, you know, to not make it to its destination, and no one survived. So they never were able to carry out and find out more about that. And, you know, that is one of the things that he does do. He shot out a plane out of the sky before, the Ukraine passengers, or was I can't, you know, he's always got a beef going, and he loves to blame other groups for things he does. He has certain groups, especially Muslim groups and stuff like that. That's if he can. And then there's other things that he won't come out and say that he's done, but he likes it. So he keeps that, he kind of keeps it out there so that it's kind of intimidating. He likes that macho stuff. And that's why we have all those ridiculous, more testosterone than I've ever seen in the Castro district, and on a men's, you know, evening, you know, because there are people that LGBTQIA that are in the Castro area, but if we're just talking about those that are men, this guy behaves in a way that makes me go, that's really homoerotic behavior. Duly noted, because I don't have a problem. Yeah, I'm comfortable with myself and other people being themselves, unless they're like him and they go and like killing people left, right, and center, and in some of the most horrific, really evil ways. I mean, there's an enjoyment that he takes in the methods that this man chooses. And that's just it. The thing that I see is that no matter how powerful he gets, it's never going to be enough. And as he ages, it's only ratcheting up his paranoia of losing control, and he can't imagine not being at this point the leader, even in proxy to Russia. So there's going to be some real issues. And I have a feeling I'm going to be doing a lot of readings on Russia because it's going to be undergoing a lot of change. And this is just going to be kicking it off. I mean, it's always been kind of erupting, but this is going to be a really powerful push for things for people to be upset by, because with the economy there isn't great. And now it's just going to be not just where it's not great, but where it's like not. And, you know, the world is refusing to, is boycotting and sanctioning. So he's going to have a very unhappy public. I know he doesn't care about them, but when he comes to keeping the position that he's got, he kind of needs to. But I think he's way beyond that at this point. I do. So when I was drawing the cards, the first two that I've drawn, interestingly enough, and I was asking, you know, like, what's his deal going back to family? Does he have an issue? You know, what do we need to know about? And is that woman that claimed to be his mother, is she in fact truly his mother? So I get the Ace of Cups and the Eight of Cups, and I feel like yes. And I'll show you. This deck is called the Pocket of Peers. Yes, it's another tarot deck. Okay. So you can see, all right. So the Ace of Cups, all this emotion is coming out, is a very sensitive topic. Just as I said, makes sense to all the behavior we've ever seen with him with regard to family. And the Eight of Cups, that is the way he likes it. He doesn't look back, and he doesn't want to look back. He is content with who he is now. He was not content, and he really does not like to reflect back on those days of not being powerful. Those were days of him. He has no sense of humor about himself, in case you might have guessed, and he doesn't take jokes or roasting. You know, he has no sense of humor about himself at all. He is that insecure. And somebody that's secure can laugh at themselves, make fun of themselves. He kills people for that. So let's see what the next couple cards are. This lets us know, again, he's got very distinct feelings about it and doesn't want to acknowledge the past in any way that doesn't fit with his current narrative. This Seven of Wands, he wants to be this great, seems this, you know, this monumental leader of great, you know, surpassing Stalin and anyone that's ever come before. And it's all a fantasy because he's gotten what he's gotten through a lot of thuggery, not through actual ability to negotiate or to work with people, you know? So like that ability, that kind of diplomacy, just being able to conversate, it's all his way. Just like him being there still is all his effort to stay there. So we've got the Seven of Wands, him very much wanting to keep the position of power that he has, but also he feels that he has risen to become something great, especially from, and that says he feels like he came from a very, very disadvantaged start. And interestingly enough, so he gets, when about family, he gets that very emotional Eight Ace of Cups and the Eight of Cups. That's a real hot topic, deep topic, and you want to see a man react, bring up his past, because he wants nothing to do with it. He is kind of disassociated completely and shut the door on it, and would be quite happy if anything else just disappeared. And in fact, it's interesting when I say that, because I just looked at the card, and on this Seven of Wands, she's holding a magic wand. Let's see if you can see that. I don't know. All right. So he wants to be the one that's directing everyone else. And this is, he wants this to be the Fool with his past, his childhood. He wants it to look heroic, like he's always been, like the kinds of posters he likes to try, and his PR that he puts out on, shirtless on the horse and all that kind of stuff. And it's very cold outside or whatever. But Vlad is out on a fresh morning ride with his horse. And the Fool and the Seven of Wands just say to me, it's a facade. This facade of being Mr. on the horse, shirtless stuff. It's really something, an important facade that he holds up for the nation, that he wants the nation to believe. And it's something he's created, no less. The figure there, she's holding a paintbrush, yeah, like I said. So he wants to be able to create the narration it's saying, and he doesn't want people to really know the actual truth. I do think the first two cards, the Ace of Cups and the Eight of Cups, say, yeah, he's definitely emotional if that isn't his mother. And he does not want that narration to be brought up. He wants his narration to be accepted only. And he really doesn't want his past to look deeply into. Everything has to be finally, in his eyes, he's got to put the finishing touches with that Seven of Wands. Oop, just as I was getting it. Yeah. To any of the stories of his childhood with the Fool. And he wants to control every bit of information that, if he could, he would, out there about him. And pretty much that is what he has done in Russia. Okay, there's my stomach again, sorry. Grr, it agrees. Yeah. He's been there since the 90s, and he does not know how to let go of it. But we're looking again at his family issues. Here I get the study. Now, he did get foster parents. I think he was sent away, like what they say, boarding school. So that's interesting. It's kind of has the boarding school feel to me. And the Knight of Cups, that to me is him. He is, though he is a Libra, he can either show up in my decks as a typical Libra with the swords, but he's also got a really strong Scorpio element. And he often shows up, and especially when something has pertinence emotionally to him, he'll show up as the Knight of Cups, that, this super sensitive, watery aspect of himself. So it shows, and it's letting us know, indeed, there's a reminder that his ability to craft what his past was is everything to him because he's deeply insecure about his past and his beginnings. Anything short of being wonderful. And I think he will acknowledge, like he'll say, yeah, my upbringing was difficult or whatever. But for people to like really, really get in there and know the truth, to ever know if he was bullied, anything like that, that kind of stuff is not going to be coming out, not at least while he's there, you know, nothing that will make him look weak. Now, he's not the first person to go around and do that. I mean, every leader has somebody going around trying to help them with their public persona. But here we get the Ace of Swords. And again, oops. It's showing like, again, like an engineer's table drawing. And that's the part of him, that Ace of Swords, that clarity of, I know I want to be somebody. And this is the way I'm going to go around to getting it. And I really do feel like fairly early on, and especially I think in his teens, in his adolescence, he really thought, as far as family went, I want to learn. I want to go join the ranks. I don't think he was terribly interested in, I think he wanted to be free and to become the kind of person that he wanted to become and not someone else's. He wanted to be his own person. So I think that's the clarity with the Ace of Swords around about that time with the Ten of Swords. Yeah, he wanted his hardship and his difficult cycle that he had grown up with, and it was really hard on him, to be over with. And this was a way that he could manipulate that for sure. So with that Ace of Swords, he would sever that and it would be clear. Okay. Sip of water. All right. So that shows again where his family is concerned. He definitely didn't want anything other than the narrate that he has wanted to give the world being given. And people have died. He's killed people for this. But it's already out there now, but it's not out there in the way it would have been out there had these people been able to investigate that. All right, let me just see what else with this family. Queen of Pentacles and a Two of Wands. Now this could be, and I feel like could have been his mother, or this could be his wife or his ex-wife. She's kind of got a crown on her. Well, yeah, she's got a crown on her head. This is the Queen of Pentacles. Now, if you see the footage of the woman that's claiming to be his mother, that's on that grunge report, she looks a heck of a lot older than somebody in our country that would be that age. But you know, you have to understand different cultures, and also probably not very hard life. I tend to think this might be her. She's like very earthy. And I think she's out annoyed that he's ashamed. And this is that Two of Wands. This to me is the mother telling a little bit more, like she did in that video. I'm actually his mom. He can say what he wants. I know he won't claim me. Yep. Seven of Swords is deceit. That means someone's lying. And the Knight of Swords, that's him. He's the swords. What I tell you. So this has been something he has been denying since he was you know, into kind of a young adult. There's also all kinds of like paperwork again around the Knight of Swords here and the Seven of Swords. So he's changed paperwork, actually. This says to me he has, and I think I heard that on one of the things I watched, I don't know, at some point about him, that he did change some kind of paperwork, or I don't know. But there he did. But this indicates that something even more not quite kosher, not quite on the up and up, that he changed details. And it's interesting because in the Seven of Swords, this person's holding a family photo. I didn't realize that. Yeah, okay. So he's had records changed. That's what it's saying. Things that are not truth. He's had them. You could say, I'm sure he would say, no, I had them changed to the truth, but that wouldn't be me telling the truth. Four of Cups, he's again feels disconnected and disassociation to his parents and those biological sides of his family. Has no feeling. Indifferent. He feels absolutely indifferent unless they become a problem. He doesn't feel warm and fuzzy like, oh, my family. No. There's no warm, affection. Instead, he looks at a man that's a King of Pentacles that was a very successful businessman as being more of somebody that was family. And I think one of his foster father may have been. Okay. And again, about the family, the Six of Swords and then Justice. When he went into the foster care, I guess and it's not, I'm sure it's not the same as ours is in any way, but when he basically went to the home that he did, and I'm sure they were given extra money and whatnot, it feels like he felt that while that was okay, it wasn't enough. And he but he aspired to having more in his life. He wasn't going to just settle for what he saw these people that fostered him and anyone else. He had a unique and has a unique want to be at the very tip top, the best, and he's very dangerous, really, because it's megalomania. And here he was just absolutely driven mentally, I feel like, to improve himself in a number of ways. Mentally, what did he know? And then justice, what did he, the law. Wasn't he a lawyer to begin with or something like that? I can't remember. I could be wrong. Anyway, he would have to know these things. There were things, and it looks like to me like he was, because of his background, he felt like, I'm going to be better than where I came from. Okay. King of Swords, there he is with the Queen of Wands. I'm thinking that this was his first wife or only wife, maybe, that we know about. I have a feeling it's her. And doggone it if I've forgotten her name. But yeah, I have a feeling. I have a feeling. Oops, so let me just look at that with these. Yeah, you know, I think like when he married his first wife, sorry, I've got to put some repair stuff on my nail, otherwise it's torn, it'll hurt. Especially this one, get my fancy press on back on. So I feel like it's definitely looking at him, and I feel like likely, and forgive me for forgetting her name, his wife at the time. God, I'm forgetting it. What was it? No, I can't find where I set that down. I cannot believe myself. Sorry, guys. Where did I put that? Well, anyhow, I'll continue and hopefully I'll find it. Yeah. See if I can put this on pause. Okay, we're good. Okay, so that's interesting. Now I'm being kind of shown the family. Yeah, and divorce, 3 of Swords. There's a lot of pain. It's interesting. This card just kind of came out on its own next to the pair. That was he cheated on her. Okay, now understand this is a tarot reading. I have to say that this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. But I'm getting a sense of him cheating on her, breaking her heart, and having a tumultuous kind of a relationship with his first wife. Again, her name is just flying right over my head. You're probably saying it right now. That's fine. I'll look it up after this. The High Priestess, there are secrets that she has. And the 3 of Cups. Yeah. This was to do also when he drank. He went through a time where he drank and was really awful to his first wife. And eventually he snapped out of it. And I think he aspired to higher office. So he got his stuff together. I think somebody said, hey, you know, I'd like to give you these, but I cannot do it. You know, you're too much, you drink too much. So I'm feeling like there's a lot of things there that he did to amuse himself, and secrets, and that she just wasn't down with it. And so then it goes into his relationship. He didn't know how to have a relationship with other people. He really doesn't. And she knows that. She knows a lot. How come she's, he must have some respect or love for his daughters, though. I do. And I do believe that this is his secrecy actually toward them. Just suddenly made me realize that's her and the 2 daughters. And he has always kept like their details, tries to quash them, and any kind of press about what they're doing privately, you know, despite having built some sort of dance venue where so his daughter could do her dances and stuff. And it's, you know, pretty fancy facility. But there's certain things he doesn't want known. And again, he's got to control everything. The moon, there's certain things he absolutely, with regard to his family, that are just off limits. He wants it covered. even them, even the more recent, you know, that's his ex-wife and his daughters. All that's very kept quiet. And with the Six of Pentacles, yeah, he has people that help to keep their details shielded, protected. And that's really it. I think that they are really probably the three people he actually cares about. I think if he didn't care about his ex, you know, just say it, that she probably wouldn't be here, you know? All right. I'm just going to finish this out for looking at family. He has awakening, which is also the Judgment card. He's, you know, there's something more that's going to be known about his family coming up. This is interesting, and he won't be able to stop this. Two of Swords. See, he's going to try and silence someone again. From revealing things that he's responsible for, like the world couldn't kind of look and see and go, that's his trademark. We know you did it. You can deny it all you want. And you're killing these people doesn't change our idea. We know that you did it. I feel like, again, this is also all the people that he's had killed that were journalists, you know, big time people that he's threatened. And not just threatened, but, you know, followed through with the threat. Strength and the Chariot. He is over, this says everything. He's the definite negative aspect of strength. He's not just overcompensating, but he's so insecure that he's got to dominate everything completely, everything. It's become ridiculous. And it would be funny, and maybe one day in the future, it'll be funny once he's no longer in power and can actually affect people's lives. This Chariot and strength just makes me feel like he's just used to being able to roll in like a tank himself and just do as he pleases. And it started, and all of this, because it deals with his personal sense of personality. You know, he didn't want to be picked on. He didn't want to, you know, he had to reinvent himself. All right, so now I'm going to look at now I'm going to look at who no, I wanted to look at Zelensky. Let's look at Zelensky. Let's see. What do we need to know about Zelensky? The Ukraine's president. What do we need to know about Zelensky? What do we need to know? And I ask my ancestors and the Most High, the Most Holy, to guard and guide me in all my readings, and especially the people in the world who are in need, to please protect them. Okay. So what do we need to know about Zelensky versus Putin? What do we need to know about Zelensky versus Putin? Okay, we have the Knight of Cups. Okay, wait. And we have the Page of Pentacles, much lighter energy here. Now, this makes me feel like his energy is so different from Putin's. This shows me somebody that genuinely is capable of being authentically empathetic. And with the Page of Pentacles, I mean, I know he was a stand-up comedian and did a lot of acting. I can't speak English, apparently. And did a lot of like comedic acting, was in a lot of shows and stuff like that in Russia. And apparently we can see, I guess some of them have, the shows that he has have made it over the States. So I don't know, you might be able to check it out on YouTube or something, but I don't know. I'm not sure. All right, so with him, and we get the Seven of Pentacles, the energy is a lot more straightforward. He's a grafter, a hard worker, and puts a lot of thought into his every move. Okay, and he's still learning. King of Cups. Dang, I could have sworn that I looked at when his birthday was. Let me just see if I can find that. Okay, not that one. Let me see. Zelensky. Okay, January 25th. So he should be, is that going to be, yeah, he's an Aquarius. My mom's the 27th. Okay. So he's an Aquarius as well. I mean, like, not as well, but an air sign as well. I got to keep that in perspective. I wonder if we can see his birth chart. To see, yeah, what he has. All right. Yeah, he's an Aquarius sun with a Leo moon. His ascendant is Gemini. And his midheaven is Aquarius. And houses 3, 6, and 9. Air, fire, and fixed. And his dominants are the moon, Uranus, and Neptune. And his moon is in Leo. Oh, Vladimir better watch out. And this guy's got strategic skills. I mean, he's capable of very much thinking outside the box. All right. So I'm just trying to look and see what's, yeah, I'm not saying like he doesn't have the water that I expected to find so much. But this tells me he's working double time learning about Putin and has been spending a lot of time learning about Putin. Yeah, I think also learning about Putin's, just reading the guy, figuring out, you know, what his tactics are likely to be, etc. And already just the energy is just so much lighter, so much lighter. than Putin's. The Chariot. Now, of course, he wants success and victory as well. And he's very determined as well. And Temperance. So he has the Chariot and he has Temperance. It's just a matter of him making sure he comes about this in a more balanced way, that he responds to things appropriately with the right amount of action and force, or not. He's got to gauge it and have a balanced mixture of ways of dealing with this. And I feel like he will successfully be able to do that, not just because of himself, but because of also the people that are, of course, helping him, the people of the Ukraine and the people that are in the government. Three of Cups, there's celebration, they like him. And the Five of Cups, they don't, they know what it is to lose. And they've lost people. I'm feeling like these people that like him so much have lost, many of them, enough now that there's no question that they support him. And they are, with that Five of Cups, very somber, because as more of these, as Russia takes hold of more and more places and stuff, and there's losses, it becomes less, there's more and more losses, and it becomes about their friends, and family and their country. And it's only going to make the resolve of the Ukrainian people, even more than it's just going to keep cranking that up. The world. Now, Zelensky knows he's got the backing basically of the world. He does. Most of it. Also knows that this is really kind of got to deal with this guy now once and for all, because he's been picking a fight with us for a very long time. The Empress, and this to me is the nation, Ukraine, the people. Not Russia. This is Mother Ukraine. And how do you like that? She comes with the world. So this makes me feel that not only because he loves his own mother, and there's a difference. Putin has no feelings whatsoever, we were shown, about his biological family, and barely some toward, the adoptive family he had. He really does care about his ex, I think, and then the two girls. But here's the difference. Zelensky isn't like that. He doesn't just care about his family and his kids. He cares about the whole nation. Now, I'm not trying to say that he is perfect, but for a man, I think that, and again, I hate it when people, they can doom people to fail by putting them up on a pedestal. He's not a perfect guy, but I have to say I admire him for taking the job when nobody else would do it, and trying to learn these things. And it's very, that's no small thing. And so I have respect for that. And I hope that he will always be honorable in representing his nation and taking care of the people there and whatnot. So I also see that he actually loves his mother. So I feel like that opens his heart in so many other ways that I don't think Vlad ever had growing up, or that he may have rejected, because I saw indifference. He had it there, but he didn't choose to pick it up. You know, I think that the foster family may have tried, but I think by that point he's pretty cold. But this is Zelensky, and this, I think he shows great love, like I said, not only for his mother, but the land and where he's from, and the very people that live in the Ukraine, in Ukraine. The star, he has hope. And it looks to me like he does look to his ancestors, and he does look to God or the divine, whatever, you know, source, and positive. He's in touch with his ancestors. I feel like more now than ever. And this is a significant time for him as Ukrainian. Study, yeah. He's going to learn so much from this, and is learning so much from this, and broadening his ability as a leader and deepening his maturity as a human being. It's no small thing. Oh, this is funny. No, it's not funny, but just the imagery. The Five of Swords. This is when you are being picked on, bullied, and it's like a boxing scene. And this is when you've been kind of knocked on your duff, right? By some jerk in the gym. I think we know who the jerk in the gym is. And the Ace of Pentacles. And this just shows that this has been going on, and been going on over also, I think, earthly things like minerals, gas, all of that. Anything that you can profit off of. He's still just absolutely, he knows that Putin is wanting Ukraine back. He also knows, and is kind of coming to know, what to expect, what kind of fight, what kind of thing is Putin likely to do, and then what, and then what. You know, there's some strategies I think that he's been learning about Putin. The Four of Swords and the Six of Swords. This makes him feel like and understand that the world has his back. There's a bunch of signatures here, okay? And you know, but the Four of Wands is the backup. It isn't just a bunch of signatures, but no backup. You know, there is actual backup. So this to me is are the other nations that are saying, we'll send people, we'll send supplies, you know, and like there's a San Franciscan that's joined. Okay, he's going over there to fight alongside them, alongside the Ukrainian. Teacher. What did I get about that, you know? Be learning and I think being taught, but he's also going to be teaching other people. And it's interesting, in the background, there's a Kabbalah. Now, he's Jewish, so And the Two of Wands, there's extending information out there and teaching us about what's going on as he's learning. He's learning this too. He's a young man, and this is a lot of firsts are connected to this, with the exception of Putin. He's predictably done the same thing, different day, only now he's in trouble. Despite the fact that he thinks he's making great strides and all of that there, he has the nine. There is the Nine of Swords. And I know this is about Zelensky. He does have worries too. He's got a lot of pressure on him. He's not sleeping the greatest. He's trying to absorb and process all that information as well. And that makes it very hard for him to get the rest he needs. Ace of Wands. He's just, I think also just with what's going on around them, the violence, that Ace of Wands and explosions, particularly too, it would also make it hard to sleep. Okay, let's see. Seven of Cups and the Page of Wands. Interesting. This Page of Wands almost looks like someone waving for surrender or surrendering. And I don't know, is this because they're drunk? Go home, you're drunk. Or is this because they think that they don't back Putin's plan, that it's delusional, as I kept getting the other night, that his want to go and get the Ukraine is delusional. And he is fully in that delusion, by the way. He's locked in there. I did see that too. That's why I kept trying to impress. He's really, stuck on this idea. And this might begin to affect the delusions that he harbors, that he thinks is this, when it's really not. And I think that with the Page of Wands, it's definitely like more younger fighters could also be, and then older fighters maybe with the Knight of Wands that comes up. People that are more experienced, teaching them. He's going to take a lot. This makes me sad. I think there's a lot of youth there that will be lost because they don't know what they're doing. They're young. They've not been trained very well. This can be said for a lot of people there in this war. And I see that there are going to be older people, that are trying to teach the younger people how to fight. And that they're teaching each other. There's more than one option. That's also one of the things, is the variety of ways in which they will defend their homeland is going to be very interesting, and not just your predictable ways. There's going to be some things that are funny, it looks like to me, and then of course majority not funny. But there will be, wherever there can be a moment of humor put in for the levity, it'll be there. And I see also that I feel Zelensky, is going to be really maturing, coming really into his own, potentially as a leader here, with the crash course that he's going through. And this is to try, Eight of Cups, to get them to leave, to abandon, because he's not going to surrender. He wants them to walk away. justice, and he will have justice. I get that he will be able to get greater leverage legally to make Vladimir stop his invasion. And he may have to abandon his invasion. And he's going to try and hide that. But Zelensky knows that. I get the moon and the 10 of cups. He's really seeing the trauma, and it bothers him in families. Unlike Vlad, like I was saying, Zelensky actually has a heart. And I'm not going to say, again, I don't want to like put Zelensky up on a pedestal, but I got to give him some props. And I think that he is very good for that nation right now. I thought that, yeah, that's stuck. Sometimes, you get a new deck and the cards are a little bit. Okay. Well, there's going to be a radical ending or change around the King of Wands. And that makes me think of Zelensky. Now, Eight of Pentacles, this is where he's really up to skill and he's collaborating and working with other people. This is he's going to really radically change and become very adept, I think. And this is the skills that he's going to be learning from people that are collaborating with Ukraine. Yeah, more varied skills. Is there the nation there is just learning and active. Oh, I just heard in my minds that he's going to be the one that brings an end to this war. Not Vlad. Because he's going to have that help that I've said earlier in my beginning deep dive on Putin. This is on Zelensky now, that he's going to have this, and I love this card right here because this is the creator of this deck, the Pocket of Peers deck. This is her. She's drawn herself into the deck, making cards and art. So this shows that Zelensky will change mightily through this process, this war. And he will learn about how to work with other nations. And he will be, I think, in a much better place because he's going to be like, well, I'll work with you. He's not like Vladimir. He actually works with people. He's more like a regular person. Yes, he wants independence for his nation and not his nation, but for Ukraine. And he wants them to benefit economically. He wants to see more trade and for it to be, and I think it will be after this is over with, the rebuilding of the nation there and jobs and things like that. It's going to be tough, but they're going to be okay. Because that's the Nine of Pentacles. He's, independent. Yes. Two of Cups. Again, it's talking about independent, but he has allies that he has is on good terms with. and Three of Wands. It kind of extends his profile out in the world now. You know, expect to see and hear more of him being more active and having more of a profile on the world stage. Wheel of Fortune is part of his fate and what he's meant to karmically do. And the Four of Wands. Apparently, you know, he's got more, I think, quite good diplomatic, naturally, skills if he's able to use them, you know. So I see him getting on with this and doing very well. And he does what he's been meant to do. He comes here and he serves you know, the people of Ukraine by keeping them independent. Yes, and he is wholeheartedly, heart and soul, spirit connected to this. He is not disassociated and shut down and indifferent like Vladimir. Wow, what a difference. Very different people. The King of Pentacles. He wants, especially Ukraine, to thrive business-wise. And he feels that they have a lot to offer, and they do. And it looks like he's just going to start to kind of get the ball rolling and appeal. And as a result of this, more nations, other nations, are going to have more to do, I feel like, with Ukraine, trade-wise and so on and so forth. They'll benefit from it at the end. Just looking at Zelensky here. So again, the Lovers, the Emperor, and the King of Swords. And I feel like that's him. And the Knight of Swords. I feel like the people will really like him. And he'll have, I think he'll rule with, continue to be the leader, along with possibly a woman who might be, I don't know, like VP. But I see they're a team. And they are the ones that manage the head. And I'm sure also his wife. Queen of Swords. And the Page of Cups. I feel like these are the people around him that help him to get his details down, and you know, his personal assistants and things like that. They actually like him. So I see what it shows to me like it is his fate, according to my cards, Zelensky's, to end Putin's involvement in Ukraine. And he will do that, and he will do it because he's going to be smart enough to learn, and a quick learner, it looks like. And he's going to have a lot of help from around the world. Okay. And the difference is really wild between the two of them. Zelensky's got a warm heart. He, like I said, he may not be perfect. I'm sure that he's got all kinds of probably skeletons in his closet, God knows what. But he's no Putin, and he's a real human being. I do see that. Nine of Wands, he's tougher than Putin thinks too. And he has just been in a position where he's not been able to flex his strength before. Zelensky. Well, now he's in a position where he's going to be able to do that. And he's kind of, that's new to him, you know, this responding and, you know, as a wartime. And so he's got to juggle this between remaining humane And that's, you know, the baby, the mom, family, you know, and juggling, and then putting on the, you know, war in chief hat. And it's an awakening for him. It is a broadening of his perspective and a realization, more honest of his power. And he's learning so much spiritually, mentally, on so many levels right now. It's huge. The Magician, also about, you know, how to manifest and to connect and communicate. He's really upping his game. And the Seven of Swords, especially the Magician against dishonesty that's out there. So it shows that. I'm looking for my fan because I'm absolutely melting. All right, well, 10 of Swords and the Queen of Wands. Look, I didn't think about this. Notice the sunflowers. The 10 of Swords means this awful time is over for. And do you remember the lady who put the sunflower seeds in the Russian soldiers' pockets and said, you know, you're basically those sunflower seeds are going to end up growing here because you're not leaving here alive, kind of thing? Yeah. Well, that is what it says to me. They're going to take more heavy losses. That woman's words are kind of, sorry, where the heck did I put my fan? Thought I just had it. They were prophetic. I think really seriously. Oh, man, I just know I set that down. I meant to be all neat. Oh, I'll put this here and then I'll do that. And now I can't find it. Got it. Oh, okay. Sorry. So that's interesting. We get the 10 of Swords. Now you could say, well, is that Ukrainian? You know, no, I'm not getting that at all. Knight of Cups. And I'm sure, unfortunately, there will be casualties, high casualties, probably both sides. It's just a waste. There's no reason to do this. Page of Pentacles. Knight of Cups. Yeah. New beginning to try to get their economy back up and to rebuild. Yeah, I definitely see Ukraine as the Queen of Wands here with the sunflowers, and there will be a great deal of rebuilding that, of course, has to go on. And it looks like it will get seen to pretty quickly after this has played out. Which deck? Okay. Ace of Swords and the 10 of Wands. This is clearing away the oppression that has been put upon people that are activists. In the picture, it's actually Abby Hoffman is depicted, of the late 60s. And here we have also like engineering being shown with the Ace of Swords. So it makes me feel like there is something very clear when it comes to activists. Maybe there's going to be a release of activists, or he'll get the release of some activists. As you can see, I'm still very warm. There's also, I just feel like something is cleared where those activists are concerned. Perhaps ones that have faced issue. Again, I keep reaching for the wrong. Okay, Seven of Wands. Again, this is having stood up for themselves. This is Zelensky. And that's the Tower. It was sudden. You know, there were some things that are going to happen that he doesn't anticipate. That Seven of Wands with that Tower, I think the building, them trying to come after him, I think that buildings, they're going to come close. They're going to come close. They're trying to get like some GPS on him, like some hacker. The Fool and the Four of Cups, but he's not going to be able, they're not going to be able to get to him. He's not going to be active. So they're not going to be able to, he's got something more fortified against people coming for him, either in the digitally or in the real world. So that's very interesting. Vladimir is just not going to win this. He's not meant to. And there's much more that's going to come out. Six of Pentacles. And Zelensky will be sharing that. And it's going to have to do with other people that are helping Putin. Okay, I'll stop there. I've got to do a private reading. So I will be talking to you guys again on Thursday for the True Live Crime. All right. I hope you like this deep dive. Share it, please. And don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. They've been cutting into my numbers again. Thank you so much. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.